Good morning everyone. This is class 12th, subject chemistry, chapter 6, lecture number 2. In lecture number 1, we discussed the physical and the chemical properties of group 15 elements. Now, in this lecture, I will be discussing properties and preparation of dinitrogen, ammonia, and then I will discuss oxides of nitrogen. So first start with preparation of dinitrogen. So the first preparation of dinitrogen is, it is prepared by treating aqueous solution of ammonium chloride with sodium nitrite. That is, when we react ammonium chloride with sodium nitrite, so here we are getting nitrogen, that is dinitrogen, along with water and NaCl. Now in this reaction, small amounts of NO and HNO3, that is nitric acid, are also formed, and these impurities can be removed by passing the gas through aqueous solution of sulfuric acid containing potassium dichromate. That is, with this method we can remove the impurities and we will get our dinitrogen. Dinitrogen can also be prepared by thermal decomposition of ammonium dichromate. This is the formula for ammonium dichromate. So when we heat this ammonium dichromate, what will happen? Nitrogen gas will form. Along with nitrogen, water and chromium oxide will form. So this is the another method for the preparation of nitrogen. Third is, we can also prepare dinitrogen by thermal decomposition of barium azide. This is the formula of barium azide. So when we heat this barium azide, again here we are getting our dinitrogen. So these are the three preparation methods for the dinitrogen. Next is properties of dinitrogen. So first property of dinitrogen is that it is colorless, tasteless and non-toxic gas. Dinitrogen is colorless and non-toxic gas, and it has two stable isotopes, that is N14 and N15. What are isotopes? Isotopes are the elements having same atomic number but different mass number. So here in both the cases the atomic number of nitrogen is 7 but the atomic mass is different, that is here we have 14 and here we have 15. So this nitrogen has two stable isotopes. Third property is dinitrogen, it has very low solubility in water. That is, extent of solubility in water is very low. Next property of dinitrogen is that it is inert at room temperature. And the structure of dinitrogen is, there is triple bond between N and N. And this bond is very strong and it is very difficult to break this bond at room temperature. That is why dinitrogen is inert at room temperature. But at higher temperature, it directly combines with some metals to form ionic nitrides, and with non-metals it will form covalent nitrides. Example is, at high temperature if we combine dinitrogen with lithium, so it will form the nitride of lithium, and similarly if we combine with magnesium, so again it will form nitride of magnesium. So at higher temperature it will combine with metals, but at room temperature dinitrogen is inert. This nitrogen, it will also combine with hydrogen and ammonia will form, that is nitrogen is used in Haber process which is used for formation, which is used in making ammonia. So in this case also nitrogen, it will react with hydrogen and therefore ammonia gas will form. Also nitrogen combines with dioxygen, and this occurs only at higher temperature. And when the nitrogen combines with oxygen, so here we are getting nitric oxide. So this reaction will occur only at higher temperature. Now next is, what are the uses of dinitrogen? So first use is, it is used in the manufacture of ammonia. Just as we have discussed above that when nitrogen combines with hydrogen, ammonia will form. That is, in the production of ammonia, nitrogen gas is used. Second use is it is also used in providing the inert atmosphere. That is, in iron and steel industry where inert atmosphere is required, so in that case we use nitrogen gas. Third is liquid nitrogen. This liquid nitrogen, it is used as a refrigerant to preserve food items and biological materials. So these are the uses of dinitrogen. Next we will discuss ammonia. So the formula for ammonia is NH3. Now first of all we will discuss the preparation of ammonia. So first preparation of ammonia is that it can be prepared by nitrogenous organic matter, that is the decay of nitrogenous organic matter produces ammonia. Now this is the formula for urea. Now when we treat urea with water, here we are getting ammonium carbonate, and when we do the decomposition of ammonium carbonate, ammonia will produce. So this is the first preparation of ammonia by urea. Next preparation of ammonia is on small scale. This ammonia is obtained from ammonium salt. For example, ammonium chloride, which is a salt of ammonia. Now when we react ammonium chloride with calcium hydroxide, so what will happen? Ammonia will produced, and along with ammonia, water and calcium chloride will also be produced. Third is we can also prepare ammonia by treating ammonium sulfate with sodium hydroxide. So when these two combine, again the ammonia will form. So these are the three preparation method for the ammonia. Now next preparation, that is on large scale and in industries, ammonia is formed by Haber process. Haber process is N2 plus H2 gives ammonia, and this reaction is exothermic in nature, that is the heat released in this reaction is minus 46.1 kilojoule per mole. So how we can increase the production of ammonia by this process, that is by Haber process. So there are optimum conditions by which we can increase the production of ammonia. Now this reaction favors at high pressure. Now if we count the number of gaseous molecules on left hand side, so we have 4 molecules, and on right hand side we have 2 molecules. Now high pressure favors this reaction in forward direction, because according to Le-Chatelier principle, when we increase the pressure, this equilibrium will shift to that side where we have less number of gaseous molecules. So in left hand side we have 4 molecules of gas, and on right hand side we have 2 molecules. So when we increase the pressure, this equilibrium will shift in forward direction, and here we are getting more and more ammonia. So the first optimum condition is high pressure, and the value is around 200 atmosphere. This reaction favors, or we can say that we can produce ammonia in larger amount. Next is temperature. So the temperature is 700 Kelvin. As this reaction is exothermic in forward direction, so when we increase the temperature, exothermic reaction will decrease, or you can say that the equilibrium will shift in backward direction according to Le-Chatelier principle. But if we keep the temperature very low, so what will happen? The rate of reaction becomes very slow. So the temperature, that is 700 Kelvin, is the optimum temperature by which we can increase the production of ammonia. Third is by using the catalyst, that is either iron along with molybdenum as a promoter is used in this process to increase the amount of ammonia. Or we can also use iron oxides with small amount of Al2O3 to increase the rate of attainment of equilibrium. That is, by using these catalyst and promoter, the equilibrium will attain fastly, and therefore the amount of NH3, or you can say the time will reduce for the production of ammonia. So here we have these optimum condition, that is, first is high pressure, the value is around 200 atmosphere. Next is the temperature is 700 Kelvin and the catalyst is iron, and along with iron this molybdenum, if we use molybdenum, it will act as a promoter, that is, it will increase the activity of this catalyst. Or we can also use iron oxide as a catalyst along with some amount of Al2O3 or K2O to increase the rate of attainment of equilibrium. So these are the methods by which we can prepare ammonia. Next we have properties of ammonia. So first property is ammonia is a colorless gas with pungent odor and it has high melting and boiling point. The reason is the ammonia in solid and liquid state, it is associated through hydrogen bonds. Just as in case of water, the bonding between the water molecules, or we can say that the bond between the molecules of water is hydrogen bond. So similarly in ammonia we have hydrogen bonds, and due to the presence of hydrogen bonding, the melting point and the boiling point is high for ammonia. Next is structure of ammonia. So if we draw the structure of ammonia by Vesper theory, so from that the geometry of the ammonia is tetrahedral and the shape is trigonal pyramidal. This ammonia, it has 3 bond pair and 1 lone pair, and the covalency of nitrogen in NH3 is 3. Next property is it is highly soluble in water. Due to the presence of hydrogen bonding, ammonia is highly soluble in water. Next property is aqueous solution of ammonia is weakly basic. That is, when we dissolve ammonia in water, what will happen? It will form NH4 positive and OH negative, and because of presence of OH negative, small amount of OH negative, the aqueous solution is weakly basic. Next property is ammonia forms ammonium salt with acids. That is, when we treat ammonia with acid, ammonium salt will form. For example, here we have NH3, so when we react NH3 with HCl, so ammonium chloride will form, that is, it is a salt of ammonia. Next property of ammonia is it precipitates the hydroxides of many metals from salt solution. Example is we have zinc sulfate. Now when we dissolve zinc sulfate in ammonium hydroxide, this is the solution which contain ammonia, so what will happen? Zinc hydroxide will precipitate out, that is, in solution white precipitates will form, and those precipitates are of zinc hydroxide, and ammonium sulfate will form. That is why we can say that it precipitates the hydroxides of many metals from salt solution. Next is ammonia, it acts as a Lewis base. Because of presence of lone pair of electron, it easily donates its lone pair of electron, and therefore it can act as a Lewis base. Next property is it also donates the electron pair and form linkage with metal ions, and the formation of such complex compound finds application in the detection of metal ions. For example, here we have copper 2 positive ions, and ammonia, it contains lone pair of electron. So what it will do? It will donate its lone pair of electron to this copper, and this complex will form, and the color of this complex is deep blue. So here we can say that it is useful in detection of metal ions. Next is similarly we have Ag positive and Cl negative, so it will combine to give the precipitate of AgCl, and when this AgCl combine with NH3, so here we are getting colorless solution. So from here we can detect the Ag positive ions and copper +2 ions from the solution. So these are the properties of ammonia. Now next is uses of ammonia. So first use is it is used in making nitrogenous fertilizers, that is, ammonium nitrate, ammonium sulfate, which are the examples of nitrogenous fertilizers. So ammonia is used in making these fertilizers. Next is, it is also used as a refrigerant, that is liquid ammonia is used as a refrigerant. So these are the uses of ammonia. Now next we will discuss oxides of nitrogen. Now we have various oxides of nitrogen. We will discuss only a few along with their formula, name, oxidation number of nitrogen, and the common method for the preparation of those oxides of nitrogen. So first oxide is N2O. The name is dinitrogen oxide and the oxidation number of nitrogen in N2O is +1. And the method for the preparation for N2O is, when we decompose the ammonium nitrate, so what will happen? Dinitrogen oxide will form. So this is the preparation method for dinitrogen oxide. Next is NO. The name is nitrogen monoxide and the oxidation number of nitrogen in NO is +2. Now the preparation method for the NO is, when we treat sodium nitrite, iron sulfate along with H2SO4. So what will happen? Ferric sulfate will form and NO gas will form. So this is the preparation method for NO. Third oxide we have N2O3 and the name is dinitrogen trioxide. Here the oxidation number of nitrogen in N2O3 is +3 and the preparation method is, when we treat NO with N2O4, then we get N2O3, that is dinitrogen trioxide, and this is blue solid. And also this oxide is acidic in nature. So this is the preparation method for dinitrogen trioxide. Next oxide of nitrogen is NO2 and the name is nitrogen dioxide. The oxidation number of nitrogen in NO2 is +4 and this is prepared by heating of lead nitrate. When we heat lead nitrate, NO2 gas will release and the color of this NO2 is brown. And this is also acidic oxide of nitrogen. Next we have N2O4. This is the dimer form of nitrogen dioxide and the name is dinitrogen tetraoxide. Here the oxidation number of nitrogen in N2O4 is +4 and this can be prepared by dimerization of NO2. This oxide is also acidic in nature and it is colorless solid. Next oxide of nitrogen is N2O5 and the name is dinitrogen pentaoxide. Here the oxidation number of nitrogen is +5 and this can be prepared by treating nitric acid with phosphorus oxide. Here we are getting the oxoacid of phosphorus and N2O5 is obtained. Again this oxide of nitrogen is acidic and it is a colorless solid. So these are the oxides of nitrogen: N2O, NO, N2O3, NO2, N2O4 and N2O5. So after doing this, you can solve NCERT exercise question number 4th, 5th, 6th and 11th. So these are the homework question for today's class. Now I will be discussing the homework that I gave you in lecture number 1. First question is, discuss the general characteristics of group 15 with reference to their electronic configuration, oxidation state, atomic size, ionization enthalpy and electronegativity. And the answer for this question is, the electronic configuration for group 15 element is Ns2Np3. The common oxidation state shown by group 15 elements is -3, +3 and +5. And the atomic size of group 15 element is, when we move down the group, atomic size increases, and when we move from left to right, so the atomic size of group 15 is smaller than that of group 14. Now if we compare the ionization enthalpy in group 15, so when we move down in a group, ionization enthalpy decreases, but the ionization enthalpy of group 15 is more than that of group 14 because of half-filled stable configuration of group 15. Next property is electronegativity. Now if we compare the electronegativity, nitrogen is the most electronegative element in group 15, and when we move down the group, electronegativity decreases. Next question is, why does the reactivity of nitrogen differs from phosphorus? And the answer of this question is that nitrogen, it exists in the form of N2 and triple bond exists between N and N. Whereas in case of phosphorus, it exists as a P4 tetrahedral molecule and the bond between phosphorus and phosphorus is single bond. So in nitrogen, triple bond is there, and in phosphorus, single bond is there. So triple bond is more stronger than single bond, that is why there is difference in the reactivity of nitrogen and phosphorus. Question number 3 is, discuss the trend in the chemical reactivity of group 15 elements. So this question we have already discussed during our lecture. Now question number 4 is, the HNH angle, or you can say the bond angle in ammonia, HNH angle value is higher than that of PH3, ASH in ASH3 and SBH in SBH3. Why? And the answer of this question is, so when we move from nitrogen to phosphorus and from phosphorus to arsenic, what will happen? The size of the central atom increases, and therefore these hydrogen, they will lie away from each other when the size of the central atom increases. That is in case of NH3, these hydrogens are closer and therefore the repulsion between these bond pairs are maximum. That is why the angle between H and H in case of ammonia is higher as compared to HPH and HASH. So these are the 4 questions which I gave you in lecture number 1.